There we go. Now it's saying it's planned, so it should be coming up now. There we go. Yes, we are live now for Singapore Tier 2. We were on the understanding we were live. Somehow YouTube thought differently, so here we are, Phonology and Mufasa, your commentators for tonight.
Yeah.
Gotta love it when this happens.
Yeah, we were having a good, well, silent stream. We were
Yeah,
together.
very silent. Secret even, you could call it.
Yeah. Still, could be worse. At least we're live now, and the problem is resolved. Anyway, round 4. Obviously, we're saying that this is a very technical track. We were. Currently, I'll quickly run through the grid order so far. So Storms has put in a 130.2, followed by Nix on a 30.3. Then we got Valley on a 30.3 as well, just a couple, 19 thousandths off him. And then we got a Kilometer in 4th on a 30.5. Then Litz is on a 30.7. Girthquake currently doing, well, a lot of warming up there on a 31.0. Then we've got Robbo on a 31.1 and Cossa on a 31.2, followed by Piano Jam on a 32.3. And then we got Ralph Atari also on a 32.352. So Saint Power is on a 32.6. And then Nemesis, who is out of the session, has done a 32.7. Pringles on a 32.9. And then Unsainted, who is, I believe, a reserve, on a 34.0. And then Limited Danny on a 204, or, well, 201. Now is on a 32 flat. So out, obviously, we got Run Monkey. Then we got Demac, Vim Porsche, and Lewis. Obviously, Lewis is on a qualifying ban due to reserving in a slower tier and being a faster driver. So yeah. Anything you want to add?
For same goes for DMAC and Vin Porsche. All those bottom 3 are faster drivers reserving in a slower tier. Monkey, at some point he he crashed himself out on track, which is easily done in Singapore. Nemesis, he lost it somewhere as well. Didn't quite happen when I was following him, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. But Girthquake is now improving, and he's on a good lap, I think. So let's see what he's going to do.
Yeah, he is 7 tenths up to the good. He is, as he comes through final sector, runs it almost out.
Very close to the wall.
Yeah.
That was very committed over the curb as well, taking all the track he needs, and that's good enough for Paul with a 30 flat.
Yeah, that's
A
good.
purple lap it was. It wasn't showing any particular sector that was purple. Robbo is not really improving. Costa doesn't seem to be improving.
Limited Danny.
He's still on mediums.
Yeah.
Piano Jam, he is improving with 2.5 tenths. Bit of shocking internet connection again from Piano Jam. Limited Danny has now gone into the pit to get rid of those medium tires.
So yeah, Piano Jam coming through the Anderson Bridge now, obviously into one of the tighter sections of the track overall. It's on the DRS. Let's see what's his middle sector saying. And is 8 tenths up, so this is a good luck for him, I suppose.
31.5, that will be P6. If he improves a little bit more, could be P5.
Yep. So he's in the hunt for top 6 then, top 5 here. Hops over the curb a lot though, which isn't going to help there. Maybe a bit too much curb. But comes around final corner and goes P8. Still a good lap. So he'll be happy, I suppose, or satisfied with getting into the top 10 at least. So nonetheless, Unsainted has crossed the line and jumps up into P13. However, I'm not sure if he's actually started a new lap. Don't think so. No. So
Yellows, which could always be somebody crashing, but I don't see anybody DNFing, so I think it's just slow drivers.
Yeah.
Litz at the moment though, he was faster through the first sector. He's coming up over the bridge now into turn 13 as kilometer sets the first 129 of the evening, 129.9 basically. As Litz set a purple second sector, so he could be up to challenge kilometer for this 29.9.
Yep, certainly could be. Takes a nice
Not
line
as
through
committed as Gurfcraig was to that corner over there, but still good line. And he does take pole with a 129.86, so 38 thousandths of a second faster than kilometer.
Yep, so this is lining itself up to be a nice end to qualifying then here. So Ralph Attari is in the middle sector then, as he goes through the Singapore sling section then.
Bit of drift.
Yep. We'll open up the DRS on the exit. It's a decent exit, no obvious wheel spin, which is good. That's what this is lap time saying. 8 tenths up, so this would see him jump into 31s, but goes too far wide there and will invalidate.
How about Costas? Is he improving? No, he's just went over the line. So I think that's pretty much our run. Saint Power.
Yeah.
He's just started, I think, but he's not using his ERS. Is he doing a double warm-up?
Potentially. So I think it could be only Costa on a lap then here at the moment, who currently sits P9 on a 31, but goes very wide and almost into the barrier. Where Nelson, I'm pretty sure that's where Nelson Piquet crashed, to be fair, in 2008. Controversial topic, that is.
That is a very controversial one, that.
But, yeah.
Oh, he backs out of it.
Yeah, it didn't look like a clean lap, to be fair, so unsurprised. So St. Power then, I think, would then be the next driver to do a lap around here, who is...
he's driving slowly now.
Must be doing a double warm-up, to be fair.
Yeah, must have been. We've got Robbo, who's in P7 at the moment, who was improving by 5 tenths on his previous lap, until he found 2 cars parked in a blind spot during a slow lap, which obviously messed up his lap. 5 tenths up, that will bring him to 130.6. So not quite good enough for an improvement in positions. Anyhow, let's see if Saint Power now starts his lap, and it does look like it as he turns his ERS on.
So into turn 1 we go then. A little bit of oversteer through 2. Still.
Not the cleanest of lines through the first bit of the lap.
No, getting a lot of marble pickup, which won't help the grip. So anyway, towards the end of sector 1 is 65 thousandths up, bit wide at the end of that straight.
It wasn't the fastest of lines he took through turn 6, I think it is. 7,
yep.
Sorry, turn 7.
Through
I've made the race brief, I should know this.
I think this is 10. To be fair, you should know all the corners around here.
Yeah.
After your race brief, even though that was a great heavy metal. Anyway, getting a little bit loose on the rear through the
Well, let's
exit
see
of that
how
one.
he's looking in Sector 2. Still up on his time, but marginally only.
Yeah. So not the so far quickest of the laps, but still improving, which is still a good effort. Will consolidate him at least P13, as I don't think Unsainted is going to come out do
No,
another lap.
not in 7 seconds, he isn't.
Nope.
And
And crosses the line on a 32.5.
Piano
So
Jam isn't improving. Robbo is improving by 9/10 of a second, the game is saying, through the second sector.
yeah, and Nix is on a very quick lap here, 9/10 up, also on a 30.3 so far. Is this going to go P1? I believe it will, and does go P1. 29.5 for then Nix to take the provisional pole. So what is Kilometer doing? Obviously
Two
did,
thousandths of a second slower.
well, was the first driver into the 29s,
It's
and
not improving.
yeah, not improving. Would have to have a mega final sector then here if he was to improve. How about Storms, who's ahead of him? Then we'll have a quick look at what he's doing.
He's got a 4/10 improvement, the game is saying. That could bring him well up in contention, yeah.
Yep,
29.8
ahead.
for third place for now.
And Kilometer comes across the line and does improve by 13 thousandths in that
But not
final
enough for a
sector, but
position.
not, yep.
Farley has invalidated.
So that's qualifying over. So
Oh, it
Nix
is.
is your pole sitter, followed by Girthquake, then Ian ERL tonight, Storms in then third, and Litz in fourth. And then Kilometer is in fifth, and Valley in sixth. Robbo seventh, Ralph Atari eighth, Piano Jam ninth, Costa in 10th, Limited Danny 11th, Pringles in 12th, St. Power 13th, and Unsainted in 14th.
Yeah, and then we got our DNFs, obviously. Nemesis, Rum Monkey, and then our qualifying band guys, D-Mac, Vinposh, and Louis G.
Yeah.
And that's
So,
the grid roundup for all 19 drivers.
yep, indeed it is. So, hopefully it'll be a good race. And hopefully be a decent Singapore Grand Prix.
Yeah,
Which,
fingers crossed.
yeah. So, any predictions for the race
Uh,
based on
my
qualifying?
it's got to be 3 safety cars, is my prediction.
3. Okay. I'm gonna predict 0 safety cars.
Ooh, that's ballsy around Singapore.
Yeah. Very bold.
Could have a nice fight up in the front. Nix and Girthquake only 72 thousandths apart for pole.
Yeah.
If that translates into race pace, we could see some nice battle all around. Still, any of the drivers who's watching, Robbo, looking at you, let us know what the weather prediction for the race is, so we know what we're talking about and what we can expect for strategy-wise.
Obviously, to be fair, well, I think this race could be a very good race because top 5 all separated by under 4/10. Well, 3
Yeah,
tenths and 19 thousandths. So literally barely anything really in it, to be truth.
yeah. The DRS straights will keep you sort of in a sector with that
Yeah,
pace difference. It's not quite quite enough of a gap to pull away from somebody if he's got a DRS on you.
yeah.
Robbo is making a prediction for Girthquake to win. I think that's his former rival that he used to battle with on track quite a bit. So obviously no love lost there. And he's hoping for Girthquake to win.
So not entirely sure what the weather is looking like. Hopefully,
It
we'll
doesn't
find out.
seem
But
to be
looks
raining right
dry.
now. Yeah, and with Singapore, if it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
It's one of those tracks where you don't get a light drizzle. It's either dry or you've got a flood.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But anyway, we are going to go racing, and here we go then. The lights are on, and it is lights out, and away we go. But apparently on my screen,
Yeah,
they're all not going,
yeah.
but they are going now. So here we go then for the Singapore Grand Prix. Been a good start by Girthquake, who makes contact though with Nix in the first corner,
Nix
then
manages
followed
to
by
stay ahead though.
Storms.
But now
Yep,
no, Gurf does take the position after all.
I think my
Guessing,
what you call it
mm,
prediction of
yeah.
0 safety cars is in threat right now.
If they survive all this without a safety car, was that a big crash in the back? I think there was.
Yeah, it's Piano Jam who's I think involved, and Nemesis has lost his entire front wing, and
Yeah.
we have got
And
our first full course caution. I think it's a virtual safety car though.
yeah. Piano Jam seems to have his wing still. Nemesis doesn't. Rum Monkey got through that safely.
Yeah. Lewis up to 13th, which been a good start from him after starting down in 19th. So he's made up some excellent gains on this lap so far. Obviously, it is only lap 1. You can't win the race on lap 1, but you can certainly lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. As Nemesis has found out, not sure what happened there, of course, but this will definitely hamper his race.
Yeah.
What doesn't help him especially is that he started on the soft tyres, so he needed that first stint to be fast, not driving around with a broken wing.
Yeah, indeed. That's going to be a difficult one to recover. But then again, we do have obviously high chance of safety cars. You've predicted through. We've already got our first. Well, we'll give it that half point, I suppose.
Yeah, that was a half. Yeah.
Can't count that as a full. Anyway, right now Litz is putting Robbo under a bit of pressure here in the Mercedes, who currently is being chased also by Valley on softs. What's interesting, actually, most of the drivers have gone for very much different, tyre strategies in some sense.
Yeah.
Few on the mediums, few on the hards. We've got one on the softs at the moment of Valley, and Valley's looking to make a move around the outside, and that's going to be a lovely move if he pulls this one off, and does go around the outside as then Kilometer tries to follow through. But Litz isn't going to give this one up, and they are going to continue to fight, but in the end, Litz has to back out wisely and has to just give that position for now up to Valley, the Ferrari driver, for P5.
Yeah, a little bit better going on there. Thanks for keeping an eye on that. Let's still not giving up on that.
No.
And Valley in front on his soft tyres, he's going to have to do what Nemesis was going to try and do as well, make the most of those soft tyres in the first stint.
Yeah, would indeed. Nemesis has actually DNF'd, to be fair, so he's out of this race after the first lap.
Yeah,
so...
and he DNF'd in pit lane, which, as we now know, with our new point system, he would have definitely scored points still. And thus, the penalties are a bit harsher on that, unless he had some rear wing damage.
Yeah. So, nonetheless, Lewis, I think, has had a bit of a moment because he's plummeted all the way down into 17th, so must have made an uncharacteristic mistake from him. As then we see Demac losing position. Sorry, no, Limited Danny having a moment, was ghosted there, so he's now down to 10th. Demac up into 9th. We're seeing St. Power then go through ahead of Ralph Atari. Just drivers really at the moment spinning. No one really overtaking properly on the track, which was a
Well,
bit
for
annoying.
Tauri, his game has crashed, and therefore he's not in his car at the moment. He's going to try to go back in. Obviously, he will be a bit slower as the AI is slower than the drivers.
Yeah. But then Porsche right now chasing St. Power, looks like he's got good pace here. Obviously, is one of the faster drivers. Obviously, reserving from a higher tier, obviously in tier 3. And here we go. Vin Porsche getting moved down the inside, textbook maneuver that is, and
Yeah,
that
and we
is
got
lovely.
at the same time we got Vali with his soft tires pushing Robbo along on the track. Very much up his diffuser, trying to get by. So far, Robbo is positioning his car quite well. A little bit of DRS help for himself as well, and that's making Vali not getting through quite yet. And I'm guessing that's going to frustrate Vali quite a bit because he is fast. You can see it in the language of the car, but he's just not quite getting through yet. And his pace advances off those soft tires will go soon. And already now getting the first track limit penalties. 3 drivers in 5 seconds. Kilometer, Kostasar, and Limited Danny.
Yeah, and got a great battle actually for P2. Right now, 5 cars all in the hunt. Stormstow doing a great job at defending, however, is going to be under very much increasing pressure by everyone behind him who will have the DRS. Right now, Nix is, well, had a moment at turn 7, almost had a look, but couldn't quite get the job done, and is now having another look at the overtaking opportunity. Can he go around the outside? No. Storms defends nicely on the inside to keep Nick still behind, but this is, well, all the time helping out also the drivers a little bit behind him. Robbo is also under pressure here, but here goes then Nix. This is going to be Nix into P2 and is now ahead of the Williams, and Valley has also made the move and position on Robbo.
Yes, I was keeping an eye on that battle. Were you keeping an eye? Yeah, up front, but Ferry done that quite nicely with the DRS there. Now it's time for Robbo to try and hold on. As he's in a little bit of pressure himself from Litz behind.
Yeah.
And they are battling it out on track. That's not what they want because they're going to cost each other time.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest issue around here. Robbo in the end surrenders that position, fair enough. Sometimes that can be the smartest thing to do, is obviously give up the position around here and, you know, fight to live another day and just try and keep up with the drivers ahead.
Yeah, stay with them. What I did notice is that Robbo's ERS light is blinking quite heavily. It's stopped doing it now, but obviously he's quite low on ERS, and that obviously doesn't quite help him in his battles.
Yeah, and Valley right now is literally pushing then Storms then through the corner, and we have now got a full course caution then here.
Yes, we've got Kostasar as our first on-track retirement.
Yeah.
Not quite sure. I think turn 14.
Yeah,
His car's
interestingly,
already gone.
Nick's into the pit lane on lap 5 on hards.
Yeah, as is Bali from mediums.
Yeah, I'm not so surprised by Valley.
D-Mac, Pin Porsche, Limited Danny. Quite a few pitters for this safety car. Are they banking on just another safety car?
Potentially. I'm not really too surprised by Valley coming in. More surprised by Nick's obviously coming in and fitting the mediums this early, because I don't think there's any chance those mediums get to the end of this race. So he'll have to do another stop.
Yeah, lap 6 31 laps to go. We got our first safety car and a VSC, so another safety car will bring them right back into contention if it happens around lap 15, 20, something around that.
Yeah. To be fair, you did predict 3. safety
I
cars.
did.
So if there is free, then it will be a game of snakes and ladders, really. I don't know if
Everybody loves a
you've...
game of snakes and ladders.
Yeah. But it should be quite good if it is like that. Hopefully,
Yeah, it
clean racing.
brings a little bit of strategy into the game. Because you can gamble big now and go home with nothing, or you can go home with the victory.
Yep.
I think yesterday, from what I've heard, I've not seen any of the race, but apparently it was quite a good race as well with for Singapore, 2 safety cars and 2 virtuals, which is not bad going.
Nope.
It is one of the harder tracks on the calendar, as is any sort of tight street circuit.
Yep.
Australia proved quite tricky as well in Tier 1 in raining conditions.
Arguably Australia, though, I would say is potentially a tougher track than Singapore. I don't know if you agree with that. For my liking, it is.
I've got more
bumpy.
hatred personally towards Singapore, just because I can't ever get a proper lap out. However, I love Australia, but for some reason I always mess up my race over there.
Yeah.
No matter how good my pace is in a league race over there, I always seem to end up either ruining the lap myself or getting it ruined somewhere along the race.
For me, with Singapore, like it's a very difficult track, like to be fast at, I find. But I find I can be a bit more consistent at it. Consistently bad, but that's another story.
Well, consistently bad is consistent as well.
Yeah. But with Australia, I just find it I'm more inconsistent. I might be quicker, but just inconsistent. Which, yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's just those 90-degree
Bumps.
corners in Singapore that absolutely kill me off.
Yeah.
Which obviously was worse when we had the 2 chicanes in before this year. It's slightly better now. Those 2 chicanes were the worst for me on the whole track.
I actually prefer the other chicanes, to be fair. The old
you
Singapore
are a madman.
Arena Bay. To be fair, I prefer the Singapore sling, the old sling, but yeah, that's another story. I think they've kind of butchered this track. Anyway, safety car is in.
As Piano Jam gets a 5-second penalty for a collision with, I think it was Nix.
Yeah, that's going to hurt his race then.
Yeah.
Not going to be good for him. Anyway, we have got a few penalties. We'll go through them shortly, what those penalties are, as then
Earthquake has started quite early.
Going. Yeah, when just before the final chicane, so wasn't going to wait and hold the pack up. Just took the first available opportunity, which, to be fair, is something I sort of approve. I don't really like when drivers bunch the pack up too much.
Yeah, we've seen that strategy a few times now in Tier 2 with our championship leader, Vigos, and it always seems to end up in a mess. Not because he does anything wrong at the front, but just drivers being impatient. So this is way better in my opinion as well.
Yeah, no, just something nice about it overall, because obviously the leader has the right to set the pace in the end. That's their prerogative, so can't complain there. But Earthquake pulling out a already decent gap, does have hard tyres though, will therefore be potentially those hards coming into the groove a bit more, as Storm's almost going into the rear of Earthquake, getting a bit deep, then getting a tank slapper on the exit of that Anderson Bridge hairpin then, and is now going to come under pressure into the final chicane from Litz, who is going to have a look around the outside, and then will, well, going to be actually Robbo going down the inside. This is quite clean racing between them two to be going side by side through there. And they get the position done, but Litt's going to have another look up the inside, cuts the corner slightly, and in the end has to settle behind Robbo then for now in fourth place.
Quite interesting, because earlier Robbo didn't quite seem to have the pace and have to let all these guys go in front, and now on the safety restart he's absolutely on it, and now overtaking Storms as well, being in P2 now. And I have to say as well, that last corner, that was an absolute gutsy move to pull it off side by side through there and make it work as well. That's the kind of racing we like to see, guys.
Well, clearly the sandbags have been taken out of the Red Bull, and clearly Robbo is now Max Verstappening it here.
I think he's thrown those sandbags in the car of Litz as he drove past.
Yeah, literally.
You can have them, Lewis.
Anyway, he's trying to then catch up to Girthquake. So far, Girthquake, though, has been very much in control of this race from lap 1.
Very aggressive on lap 1, all sort of top 3 drivers. Somehow they managed to keep it alive, but Girthquake definitely came out on top there. And that's where he still is.
So, in terms of penalty situation, which I said we were going to go through quickly in a short while ago, so far, Kilometer is on 3 seconds. Then we've got, hold on, as let's go side by side, has a look. Kilometers on 3, then we've got Demac on 3, then Limited Danny on 3, who currently is under pressure by Vin Porsche, who's overtaking St. Power. Then we've got Untainted on 3, and Piano Jam at the back on 5 seconds, of course. So that's the current state of affairs there. As we see Storms go down the inside.
Back. Is that Storms going overtaking Litz there?
I think it might have been, because I think Storms, by the looks of it, got overtaken by Litz and then repassing him for third, who's so far been probably, the most annoying driver, I imagine, for everyone in the race, because he's been literally like a brick, not willing to let go to that top 3 position, wasn't letting go to top 2 either, really.
Not very nice of you to say that somebody is annoying.
Not annoying.
I know what you're saying.
Just
it is frustrating. It is frustrating when you can't
overtake.
Get. And we've got a virtual safety car.
He's just been a solid wall,
Can't see anybody obvious dropping back. Don't know why we've got a virtual safety car here.
Just going through the grid now, seeing if... I think I found the reason. It's Fun Sainted, who I think may have gone into the barrier at... I think that might be turn 15 or 17 on the exit, just after the hairpin, but before the chicane.
The hairpin is 13, so the 90-degree corner after is turn 14.
There we go, turn 14.
Which I know, because conveniently I've done the race brief.
Yep. So, back racing again after the second virtual safety car of this race. To be fair, race pace and everything is moving quite nicely in terms of the progression of this race. Haven't really had too much sort of like safety cars or anything, which is quite good so far. Only the one interruption, which is quite nice to see how the race is going, which, as you said, adds the element of strategy. So Robbo pulling away from Storms as Valley then going side by side with Kilometer. Valley going around the outside of Kilometer, and Valley's got the move done on Kilometer, as Nix will be the next driver to follow through, but he's now picked up a drive-through So he's going to have to serve that within 3 laps of ultimately that penalty being given to him, and decides to take the drive-through hit at the earliest possibility, which is fair enough. But that's going to really hurt him overall and send him down the order. Plus, still got probably another stop to do as well.
However, a drive-through doesn't per se take you out of contention for the win. Wasn't it Jenson Button who had 2 drive-throughs and still managed to win a race somewhere?
Yeah, no, you're on about Canada 2011. That race was 5 hours long or 4 hours long. It was ridiculously long. Brilliant race though. That was probably the best race of the last decade.
Apart from the fact that it took 5 hours to finish.
Yeah, still brilliant race. There was so much went on, because it was the last lap overtake on Vettel, who, to be fair, made me a bit upset, but oh well. Cannot complain.
Yes, you are a bit of a Vettel fan, aren't you?
Yeah. That one.
He is
really
a loving character. You gotta love the dude.
Anyway,
Litz, Valley, and Storms are in a 3-way battle, and for a second there, it looked like they were going to go 3 wide into the last chicane. They decide to go single foul, as Litz has a little bit of a moment that will now give Valley an opportunity into the last corner, as he takes it and they go side by side, and he takes him over the line. And that's Valley upper place.
And then Porsche had a look there as well, going up the inside of Lit, but in the end couldn't get the move done and will just sit behind a little bit longer, but going into turn 4 does send it and goes for it and got the move done very nicely there. Don't think they made contact. If they did, only a little bit of wheel contact, which is all fair, I think, gain overall in the end, especially around a circuit like Singapore.
Yeah, a little bit of wheel scrubbing, as long as it's in a controlled manner, we can get away with.
So, next will be Valley trying to get past Storms. Now, obviously, Storms, as I say, been literally, superb defence today to be maintaining onto that P3. To be fair, he's done an absolute excellent job, but against fresher tyres, it's not really much of a contest, unfortunately. Then Porsche again making a bit more contact with his rivals than there, but again not doing too much. But then Porsche is right now really chasing also Valley, so these two gonna have, I imagine, a good scrap for what will be then this 3rd place as they chase after Robbo. But to be fair, a pair of them might be working a little bit together here as well.
They're going to have to, because if they're going to keep fighting each other, they're just going to lose more and more time to Robbo and Curvequake. That will just play into their hand for the strategy and P1 and P2.
Yeah. So far, Curvequake though, 5 seconds.
Valley, yeah, he's doing quite a good job there at the front of the pack, and Valley seems to be a bit faster than Robbo on the faster tires. However, I think Valley and Robbo are going to both have to do another pit stop. Robbo definitely, because he hasn't stopped yet, but I don't think Valley's tire is going to last another 17 laps. So it's all going to be a factor of how long can he keep those tires going and what tire can he go to.
Yeah.
So we have a safety car.
Yeah, that's our 2nd safety car. And before that, then Porsche and Valley was going side by side. I'm pretty sure Valley will be sighing a bit of relief there after that, because Vin Porsche almost had the move done for 3rd on Valley. So that safety
almost,
car
unfortunately, doesn't count as soon as the safety car comes out.
No. However, this does bring
all over again.
Yeah, this will bring Nix back into play, which I'm sure he'll be also glad to see this safety car. So, also for Girthquake, then I imagine he'll be also in. So pretty much maybe everyone will be coming in here for fresh tyres.
It is the right time to come in, I
Aside
think.
Storms. Storms obviously just made his pit stop before this safety car, so he won't be coming back in again on those hards. But anyway, what
He'll
does
be
everyone
very
do?
disappointed as well with the timing of that safety car.
Yeah. So everyone comes in pretty much fitting on, well, Girthquick goes on to mediums, everyone else by the looks of it going on to hards. Vimporsche had another set of, by the looks of it, fresh mediums in his locker, which, to be fair, that's pretty handy for him to have that extra set of mediums. Will give him extra pace, certainly for the first part of it, in terms of this race restart. But obviously, can he, well, should be able to get them to the end now, I would suggest.
16 laps, yeah. Robbo was taking them until the previous lap 14. Was losing a little bit of time to those on 14 laps. Sorry, 7 laps, but he wasn't losing that much time towards the hard runner of Girthquake at that time. So, yeah, this could work for Girthquake, I think. He will definitely get Lewis and Limited in front. And then initially have the better pace over Robbo and Bali. Vimporsche will have them two to overtake, which could be a bit hard.
Yeah, indeed.
So that's now 2 safety cars and 2 virtuals. We called virtuals half, so that's now 3 full safety cars, all added up.
Yep, I think that seems about fair.
That was my prediction, wasn't it?
Yep.
Just like to hear you say I was right.
Yep, you was absolutely right. To be fair, Zero was a bit ambitious around a circuit like this. Had it been wet, I think we'd get 0.
You think you get less with rain?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, yeah, no, well, crazy as it sounds, drivers will not make a mistake in the wet.
That sounds very crazy. Have you not watched Tier 1 Australia?
No.
Alright, that explains a lot.
I completely turned a blind eye to that, but yeah, just ignore that.
Yeah. I think people might have been a little bit more aware of Singapore being able to be wet, so you'd hope they have a bit more wet setups ready to go if it was going to be a wet race.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people, including myself in Australia, didn't quite look at it that way.
No. So limited Danny currently leads.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was going to go through the penalties again, those that are outstanding at the moment. That's Limits Danny with 3, DMAC with 3, Insatiant in P14 with 3, and Pringles in 16th with 3.
So pretty much everyone with 3. Yeah.
Just 4 drivers.
Well, 4.
I suppose if you hit the track limits here, you quite easily hit the wall as well. So it's quite
One
hard
thing
to
I
get
never get about track limits is how, track limits are even a thing around here. Same with Monaco.
Yeah, Monaco is really crazy. Get track limits only out of the tunnel in the chicane. I could sort of understand it, but other than that, you pretty much hit a wall.
Maybe turn 1 if you cut the first corner a little bit on the inside. That would give you track limits, but yeah, only 2 places I can think of. Anyway, Limited Danny about to do his race restart. Obviously, what will he decide to do? Last time, by this point, Girthquake did go for it. So he's going to hold them a little bit longer. Obviously, is at a disadvantage in terms of the tyre wear and tyre life he's on. 10 laps old, but is ahead of Lewis and Lewis G. Yeah, did go, but had a huge moment, and this allows Girthquake already to be pressuring then Lewis into turn 1. And
Cuts the corner a bit too much and takes a bit too much curb.
Valley, I think, had a moment. He's obviously ghosted, and he's still ghosted at the moment, but remains P5 there then. And it's Storms trying to make up position on Robbo, looking to go around the outside. Unfortunately, going to get ran out of road there. Still holding on the inside. They both make it through cleanly there. And in the end, Robbo defends the position well to maintain then P7 in this race. But Robbo has a little looks, trying to spook maybe Robbo out of the way into the Singapore Sling section of the track. To be fair, not really sure about corner names around here, which is a bit of a shame.
A bit of chaos in front with a couple of drivers going very slowly at the exit of turn 13. Not quite sure what was happening there, but it boosted Valley and Vin Porsche up into P1 and P2. Danny now to P3, and we see Louis G falling back to P11. He's lost his wing. Not getting another virtual safety car for that, apparently.
No.
But he is going to drop back all the way.
I feel like this is a bit of a chaos, really, with Lewis G and Limited Danny with their tyre life and everyone else just trying to push on through at the moment. That's effectively what's going on. And Girthquake then on those fresher tyres, having a look to the outside, will get the switch back then potentially here on the inside, but doesn't get the move done. Does he have enough straight line pace to get the move done on the straight? Nope. But late on the brakes into the final corner.
And he spins Limited Danny.
Yeah, has spun Limited Danny, unfortunately, there.
And that seems an unsafe return as well from Limited Danny there at the back end of that incident, as he makes a little bit of scrubbing contact with Pringles, his teammate.
Yeah, does give up the position though, which I suppose is fair enough.
That is the fair bit to do.
So,
you're absolutely right. No safety cars resulted from that though, but Limited Danny, I'm sure, is not going to be too happy.
No.
And looking back at Girthquake, he's overtaking Storms.
P3
in the run-up to turn 14 it was, and into P3 as you said, now on the last step of the podium. Surely he's gonna drive up to Valley and Vin Porsche, because I think he has the pace for it. But Vin Porsche now sets the fastest lap of a 1:32.4 for the race.
Trouble is, for Girthquake was leading this race by 5 seconds, and is now 6 seconds behind the race leader within Porsche, which just shows how the tables have suddenly turned here for
I'd have turned that tables.
Yeah. So, nonetheless, Storms under a bit of pressure by Nix, but right now Storms has also got a bit of DRS to help defend, but goes a bit deep into turn 7 out of 8 through 9, though does have his car positioned nicely, able to defend for now. Then in P4 again,
it's a problem in that section. If you mess up turn 7, it's quite easily to mess up the whole complex, as you just can't quite position the car right anymore in time for the next corner. You will just lose massive amounts of times.
Yeah, a lot of the corners around here are what you call it, connected really to one another, as Nix and then Storms going side by side. Nix gets the position off Storms and will take then P4 away from him, and now try and chase Girthquake for that final podium step as well, plus Valley. And Nix is also on medium, so really top three, 3 of the top 5 then are on medium compounds, whereas only 2 of the top 5 are on the hards, which will be given the medium runners then. Well, medium does seem like the correct way to go then by the opinion of the drivers out there.
Yeah, towards the end of the race, the hard tyres might get the faster pace per lap. The question is, will that happen in time for them to capitalize on that and not having lost too much time in the meantime?
Yeah, and Mac pulls off a very nice move around the outside of then St. Power, then at turn 7, late on the brakes, and just ran it lovely around the outside, no contact, beautiful move from him. And his next then is Rum Monkey, who is currently occupying P6, but looks like Demac, despite being on older tyres, has got better pace at the moment than these drivers around him, and is looking like he can get himself up at least another position into 6th.
Not a bad race from Ron Monkey though. Qualified quite far back because he didn't set a lap time as he DNF'd before he could do so. Now finds himself in P6, probably going to drop down to P7, maybe P8 towards the end of the race. But coming from all the way from the back, in I think one of his first races here is not a bad result at all.
No, that's a very, very good result to be fair, if it's one of his first races in the league. Obviously, your first race is always tough.
Sorry, we've got Litz overtaking Piano Jam into the first few corners with a bit of help of DRS. Piano Jam is looking to fight back with a bit of DRS on the second straight here after turn 5. Litz seems to have DRS himself as well, so that will help him defend. Piano Jam is looking, but thinks the better of it as he just didn't get far enough alongside. So that place is now Litz. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No,
what
that's
were you
fine.
trying to say?
That's absolutely fine. It's all good. Yeah, any time when it wouldn't be good, as if, I don't know.
Good story, man. Nice chat.
Exactly.
I would almost say you've been into A&E until 2:30.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you have. DMAC still not getting past Rum Monkey. I'll just pick it up as you are lost for words there for a little bit, buddy. Still not getting past him. I think that might be his all the tires, even though it's only 4 laps, hampering a little bit. But he's definitely again the faster driver. You could just tell by the way he controls the car. It's just finding that spot. This might help because Ron Monkey seems to have run out of ERS. Not quite getting it done, but he might be able to line the car up now for an exit into turn 5, or well, out of turn 5 and onto the DRS straight. And let's see if that is indeed what he's going to do. A little bit of a switchback needed, get a better exit, get more speed, get the DRS open, which he now does. And will that be enough? It seems to be so. He'd overtaken her here around the outside before, and he does it around the inside and gets it done before turning into turn 7. And that's DMAC upper place, finally past Rum and Monkey there. And Rum Monkey back to P7, who I assume will soon have Litz all over his diffuser to overtake him as well.
Yeah, both Mercedes making good progress in this race. To be fair, Litz did start higher up in the race, so a bit maybe disappointing for him in the end, I suppose, to be where he is right now, but he is, I suppose, still doing a good recovery of it to get up into the top 7. But I think this is really Mercedes' ceiling in this race.
Yeah, as a team they seem to be getting the most points here. So that's good going for Mercedes. Never thought I would say that, but here we are. And we have Nix now pushing along Girthquake. So Girthquake is definitely not feeling the love for his medium tires, as his pace advantage he had at the beginning of the race over pretty much every other driver seems to have just vanished, and he's now having to defend from Nix, who's now got the DRS into turn 7, tries it around the outside and gets pushed out of room a little bit there and has to concede the move for now. And that's Girthquake holding on to podium for a little bit longer. But if you ask me, this fight is going to go on for a little bit and will eventually go to Nix unless he makes a mistake. It's also dropping Girthquake out of DRS for Valley, which obviously is helping Valley defend for dear life into P2.
Trouble is with what both Girthquake and Nix is doing, obviously, well, works beautifully for Valley in helping him retain P2, as you said, because drops Girthquake out of that DRS zone, but also will mean Nix is potentially using a bit more of his tyre than he'd actually like, and therefore might have a little bit less to use when it comes to trying to attempt to move on Valley if he tries to do that.
That's a very good shout. And one thing I've noticed, I think I saw a message a few laps ago, or that Vin Porsche has left the session, so I think his internet or his game may have crashed. Not seen a request for him to come back for another invite, but that gap he has, as long as he's not in his car, will definitely drop down, and it's dropped down to 3.7, and he is still ghosted.
Yeah.
So will his win then be just vanished because his connection dropped out? That will be a real waste for him, and I'm sure he's going to be mad about that one.
He is asking technically for an invite, so hopefully he can quickly be invited.
I'll try and do that if you can keep the commentator going.
Yep, no worries. So anyway, right now, again, Girthquake and Nix both falling a little bit outside that DRS, dropping back. Then Nix does go a little bit wide then at the exit of 13 into 14 then, and Nix is, well, this is really the section of track where Nix seems to be at his best, to be fair, gaining a lot on Girthquake, as Girthquake in these braking zones doesn't really seem to have really confidence in this medium tyre, but nonetheless, Girthquake will get DRS down this straight, helps him remain ahead of then Nix, and good to see Vin Porsche has joined back just now, needs to reconnect in his car and needs to do so quickly because
he's done it just before turn 5, but he's back in the car.
However, Valley is in DRS, so
yeah, he's lost a full 5-second lead just because he was in NIR for a second.
Yeah.
Or a few seconds. And this will definitely bring the fight back for the race win here.
Well, we've now got a
looking to be
fight.
a four-way fight. Great minds think alike there.
Yeah, this is going to be entertaining, hopefully. The only other problem is then Porsche might have also cold tyres now, a little bit. Not really sure how I will look after.
Through.
Yeah, and Girthquake also making a position as well. So now both AlphaTauris are in 3rd and 4th. Then Girthquake up into then 2nd, and Valley is now in the race lead. Nix also going through, so Nix is now on the podium ahead of his teammate.
Yeah. We were talking about Mercedes taking a lot of points, but AlphaTauri is doing a great job as well, as is Williams.
Yeah.
Both 3 teams have got 2 drivers in the top 8 of the Grand Prix at the moment.
Yeah, no, them 2 teams are doing really, really well. And to be fair, the Ferrari-powered teams, well, are leading currently a 1-2, as Vin Porsche has retired. Not entirely sure. Did he crash? I presume he did.
I think he did in turn 3,
so
by the looks of it.
Yeah, that changes the whole dynamic of the race completely, and yeah, in a sense, I do wonder
safety car
whether this reignites the fire. This might be a little bit better for Girthquake, really. The reason why I say that is because, yes, he's got what you call it, 11 lap old mediums, but it might reignite a fire that Girthquake been missing a little bit, hopefully.
Yeah.
As he can smell maybe a win on the cards again.
And this is really, really sour for Vin Porsche. He's saying that he couldn't do anything, and the game just retired him on track.
That is a very unfortunate situation, to be fair. Typical EA game, really.
It put him in the driver's seat, but he could not control his car. That is bizarre.
Oh, that's what happens when you allow EA to make a game. They honestly, like, nah.
And
like,
there you go.
Yeah,
That's the comment of the year.
I'm sorry, like, EA are. There's so many bugs, it don't shock me. But, yeah. They used to have that bug where you come in for a pit stop and it drives you into your garage.
Yeah, Australia was very famous for that. I had that 3 times in 3 different games with EA.
That
there
was
again,
annoying.
Australia. It's not my track.
And then you had the other bug where they, what you call it, come into the pits and it puts you out back onto the track immediately.
Oh yeah, that was a good one as well.
Yeah.
Used to love those.
Great pit stop by the lads. Honestly, but anyway, back to the racing action, and this is getting really, really close between the race leaders as Girthquake now looking so much more better at the moment. He's almost like driving a bit more refreshed, I suppose. Now,
I don't know how or why, but he seems to like the medium tires a lot better now than he did before. Obviously, the DRS of Valley helps him, but he could be getting away with the win here. But I think our podium guys, all 3 of them, are going to have a massive scrap for the last 4 laps. In which order they are going to finish this Grand Prix. And let's just hope they keep it nice, clean, and give us some good battles.
Yeah, that is very, very true. To be fair, with what you call it, Girthquake, who's now picked up a 3-second penalty. That was perfect timing.
He needs to press on now. He needs to go big or go home. And he's gone for the overtake, and now he needs to push it forward and get 3 seconds on Valley and Nix.
That's going to be a pretty difficult thing to do, I think. But what I was going to say was, like, I don't know if tyre graining is in the game. I know the tyres are a bit different in 23, in the game at least. So maybe
I think on certain tracks, certain tyres definitely go through a phase where they lose pace for 1 or 2 laps, and then the pace all of a sudden comes back again before it just drops off again. So you could sort of see that as graining, where they go through a phase of not being great before coming back alive again.
That's exactly
if that's what you're after.
Yeah, that's what I mean, exactly. So I do wonder whether Girthquake's tyres went through that phase.
Yeah, could be. They're just as old as Nix's tyres, and Valley's for that matter, but Valley's tyres will go through that phase at a different stage as their hard tyres. So naturally that come a bit later. If he went through that phase earlier than Nix, then he's got a shot of keeping 3rd maybe, but it's going to be very difficult. It's still only a second between him and Nix at the moment, even less now with DRS behind him.
And here comes Valley for good measure. A little bit of contact between Girthquake and Valley, and I think Nix is going to send it up the inside. Little bit of contact between them two.
But this is what Earthquake wants, them two fighting in hard in these sort of corners, because they lose a massive amount of time. The gap is now 1.3 seconds from Valley up into Earthquake, which means they won't get DRS onto Earthquake anymore.
No.
Won't get the slipstream on him anymore, and this is where he might start pulling away. 1.6 seconds already, goes a bit deep on the exit of the hairpin. Don't think he touched the wall, but it will hamper his exit a little bit. But still, about a second and a half, 1.4 seconds. As we got Rum Monkey retire, he was doing so well. What a shame.
Yeah. One of his first races in ERL, so that's a very unfortunate way to end his first one. Because, Williams were taking home good points here. Same with AlphaTauri as well, which is unfortunate, but that was a different situation for them. But no. This gap is now starting to be extended by Earthquake. 1.5 as we cross the line was actually up to 1.6.
Gone back to 1.3 temporarily there. Now back up to 1.5. Maybe a little bit of a glitch in the timing sheet there.
But this is surely Nix's best opportunity in this race to go and take the race lead, or well, the net race lead, and get some move done. Then on Valley, could that be the race deciding moment in this race? I suppose as a limited Danny, I think has made a position up, as we're also seeing Lewis gain a position on Litz, and actually Lewis has had an amazing comeback drive, probably a bit expected from him considering he's one of the faster drivers overall.
Yeah, Lewis and DMAC both starting from the back, now 5th and 6th, not a bad job at all. DMAC has got a 3-second time penalty. I believe they are good friends, and I'm sure Lewis is going to try to keep inside that 3 second that he's just gone in of DMAC. And if he does so, then he will eventually get him on the line with the time penalty applied.
Yeah. So Valley had a bit of a moment out of the exit of 13, lost a lot of time and wheel spin, and now Nix is gaining.
Retirings.
Yeah, he's retired into the Singapore sling section, just before the bridge. So right, Nix then is probably going to take this win. And by the looks of it, can he get it done not just in the timings, but also on the track? Earthquake defending the inside,
going for it.
And in the end backs out. To be fair, I think that's wise anyway, because the win will be his. That's what I would have done
as well. You know he's got a 3-second time penalty, so there's no reason to fight him hard. Just stay on his rear, and you will just get the place granted. Obviously, it's nicer to get him on track, but there's just no reason to risk it all to lose it all.
Exactly. So, really, what can Earthquake do besides back them up and try and hope that Valley and Nix fights? And is that what he's doing? I'm not entirely sure. But Valley could have one last opportunity here, then, as they go into the final sector. Earthquake is driving, well, like a grandmother at the moment. I'm sorry to say. For them to, this must be very frustrating, especially for Nix, who is so close to the line. But I think Nix surely will have this done then. But as they come across the line, Nix just gets it by 13 thousandths.
It's really nice to see them so close together going over the finish line. Lewis has even managed to grab DMAC on track, so it's Lewis in 5th, DMAC in 6th. And Litz, one of his first races as well, I believe, in 7th. DMAC is going to cross the line in 8th, but will have some time penalties. Probably keeps 8th position though, as those behind have penalties as well. Robbo in 9th, Piano Jam in 10th.
Yeah,
and AlphaTauri's Ghost in 11. He will be DSQ'd because his game just crashed.
Unsainted 12th. Good effort from him.
27th gap, 6 seconds of time penalties, but kept going because he knows there's points on the table. Same for Pringles, who's 7.5 seconds behind, and 9 seconds of penalties. Good for them to keep going and reel in the points. There were 2 or 3 DNFs at the very last stage of the race, and that will have gained them a little bit more points. So respect
Good
for
effort.
them to keep going and bring it across the line in 12th and 13th for those final points that will be awarded. But you'll only get those when you finish.
Exactly. So that was a very I thought that was actually quite entertaining, that Singapore Grand Prix. I'm not sure what you thought overall.
Ask me tomorrow when I've seen how many reports will have been filed. I think we will see a few, but overall for Singapore, I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah, quite entertaining finish, I thought, overall.
Yeah, very much. I mean, number 1 and 2, 13,000s over the line. Don't quite get to see the full picture of where Girthquake was in relation to that with his 3-second time penalty.
2.5.
But I don't think. 2.5 behind he finished, so he would have had a 4/10 gap then, more or less.
Yeah, more or less. Think about that, 4/10. So it was pretty close over the line between them. Have you got a driver of the day?
It's a shame Girthquake has that 3-second penalty, so otherwise it would have been him because he drove quite brilliantly. I think now, Nix. He fought him off. Started first, finished first. Suppose you could give it to Lewis and DMAC as well, but
I'm gonna give mine to Valley. I think he's 6th to 2nd. I think he could have won as well. So Nix wins from Valley, Girthquake in 3rd, 4th, then Storms, Lewis in 5th, and DMAC in 6th. I'm gonna have to go through the rest of the grid quickly on the YouTube.
Playback on the stream.
Yeah. So right. So as I think I've got down to Lewis, I think it was, in 5th. So DMAC in 6th, then Litz 7th, Limited Danny in 8th, Robbo in 9th, followed by Piano Jam taking the final top 10 spot, but not the final points because Ralph Atari, well, actually, I'm not sure if he got points, to be fair, because he was obviously ghosted the whole race, and Unsainted in, I'm going to say 12th or 11th, and then Pringles in 13th. So that was your final finishing order for today.
Thank you very much. Enjoyable
No
race again.
Yep. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, obviously, and see you all next week for round 5, which is somewhere. Canada. There we go.
That's what I'm going to call it.
Somewhere. The Somewhere Grand Prix. That would be a better name for it.
No, it is Canada.
Or Canada. Anyway, great conversation.
Awesome, as always.
Anyway, see you all next time for the Canadian Grand Prix round 5.
Cheerio, bye-bye.